Welcome to the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean. Tuesday, December 8th. Great weekend review coming up. NFL, college football. The bowls have been announced along with the playoff, and the Heisman finalists have also been announced. And of course, we got to get into some NBA. And somebody's always got to get it right here on the Sports Machine. Somebody's getting really though.
Not only will somebody be getting really though, but somebody may be getting it bad. Just stay tuned the whole show because I got something I think you may want to hear. Yes, it could go down.
Looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Let's get started in the NFL. Over the weekend, some big games.
Right.
Playoffs look close.
Some people's playoff hopes went down. Some went up. Some people are still hoping. That being some people is Cowboys Nation right now.
Don't tell me there's still hope.
Yeah.
Has it faded away yet?
No. And from the looks of Twitter and Facebook, and I'm a member of Cowboys Nation, but once again, I'm on Team Tank. Let's get a top 5 pick. I'm with you on your Chicago Bears.
Definitely on Team Tank. Let's go ahead and get started with the Monday night game, which happened last night. Cowboys won on a 54-yard field goal from Dan Bailey over the Redskins. Were you kind of upset that you actually have a good kicker for once?
Well, see, no, it wasn't that. It was more of the special teams from the standpoint of, like, the kickoff. Like, this whole game was a bit of a stinker. Because I like Dan Bailey. I like having a clutch kicker because nothing sucks worse than... It feels good to win with your kicker, but nothing sucks worse than losing with your kicker when your team has put you in a position to win a game, right? So, I won't say I can't stand Dan Bailey because he's been so consistent. Be real with you, I think he should have got the Gruden grinder last night, but he didn't. I think they gave it to Sean Lee. But the game was a bit of a stinker. I mean, it was like now the first touchdown didn't come to almost 58 minutes into the it's like 2 minutes off into the fourth quarter. Like that was the first touchdown of the game. And once again, it just seemed like what I took from the game was it seems like Washington special teams tried to give it away, and they wound up succeeding. But then it was like I really didn't want us to win. So I guess Cowboys Nation, does that make me a bad person because I wanted our team to actually lose to get a top 5 pick and maybe do some New England Patriots style trading with the pick or something? But
I don't think that makes you a bad person.
Does that make me a horrible fan?
I don't know. I'm kind of questioning myself because I've been on that train lately, the Team Tank train.
I'm just saying, it's like...
You think Dan Bailey said you like that after he made it? I
would have. I would have. I can't. But then again, it's like...
You like that?
They still have to play him at home.
That's
at
when
the
you
end
win
of the
again.
season. If he has to play him at home. Like, you have to play him at home again at the end of the season. So it's like...
You just have to win again. That's all that means.
Well... This is our first win. This is Cowboys' first win post Tony Romo. Twice. Like you post the twice post Tony Romo era. So it was a good win. And like I said before, Cowboys, they still hanging hopes. Like, hey, we still one game out of it. And it is true.
NFC East rival, the Eagles got to win against the New England Patriots. What a shocker.
It was a shocker, but then I say this again. They beat Tom Brady, but they didn't beat the New England Patriots.
I don't know. They scored pretty effectively.
Yeah, they did. But that was because the Patriots, who has a top 5 rated defense, right? They have a top 5 rated defense, but they was out there on the field all the game.
They had 2 turnovers. I'm not trying to hear that.
The Cowboys gave up 3. And they still
were going against the Redskins.
Who's 5-0 at home.
Philadelphia's time of possession was 25 minutes, 44 seconds. New England's is 34 minutes, 16 seconds. So I'm not trying to hear they was out there all day. They gave it up. They was taking it.
They took it. But at the same time, let's not act like this was just Tom Brady with his arsenal of weapons. Half these guys didn't even know where they was going. Like, they didn't know where they was going. It was a lot like what happened with TCU when they played Oklahoma State. Trayvon Boykin, Josh Stockton goes down. It's like, who else you have out there? Just, every one of these guys out there are true freshman receivers. Oh, no.
It's like, what did you expect?
Yeah. But they did make it close at the end. Give them props for that. Give them props for that, though.
With Tom Brady, it seems like it's always going to be close.
Right.
Another shocker to me was the fact that the Saints made it close against the Panthers. Thought the Panthers were going to lose there for a second.
Tell me about it. I was watching that game thinking to myself, I'm like, wow, this is the one time where I think Cam Newton's antics may have gotten the best of him because, a lot of, I guess when I was listening to some of the pre-games and they were saying, well, the Saints were pretty fired up about this game for one just because of the way Cam Newton went about certain things like his little, like the pre-game deal where he was out there catching passes in the end zone and things of that nature. Then when the Saints was doing their intro, he was basically almost out there greeting them. Out there in the middle of the low intro, greeting them, watching them as they came out. Like, it was like they was really fired up about it. And I don't blame them for being a bit fired up about it. It was like they didn't do nothing about it. So at the end of the day, all that matters is the W. And they're undefeated.
Cam Newton put it on, so.
Right. 5 touchdowns, man. 5 touchdowns.
With his group of receivers.
What you think about Devin Funchess right now?
Out of Michigan. I liked him. Coming out of Michigan. Slow start.
Yeah. Ain't always how you start. It's how you finish, right?
He's been coming through lately.
Right.
A lot better.
Right. I'm starting to miss not having this guy on some of my fantasy draft teams because, man, like, my fantasy draft team's been slumping. Last week I done pretty good. This week it was like, I will never pick Eddie Lacy again. And I'll move on from that.
Put it all on Eddie Lacy.
0.6 points. That's what I got. All because he decided to miss a curfew. That's why he didn't play that much.
Shouldn't have missed curfew.
Thank you.
Big game between the Chiefs and the Raiders. Chiefs came out with the win, 34-20. The Chiefs,
slowly but surely, been turning it on.
They look like they're gonna go to the playoffs
right.
at this point. I mean, they're kind of leading the way in the wild card spot in the AFC.
Right.
What do you think about their running back situation? Do you think Jamaal Charles held the team back, or do you just think they just started rallying around the new guys?
I think they had to rally around the new guys because of the fact that I won't say it was Jamaal Charles that was holding them back because you have a running back that's Marshall Faulk-esque. I won't say he's Marshall Faulk because Marshall Faulk is one of those top great running backs, but you talk about a running back that could do it in between the tackles, outside the tackles, and was a good receiver out the backfield. You could flank him out as a slot receiver and still try and take over a matchup that way with Jamaal Charles. And it's one thing you're missing right now is that type of weapon where they have the game plan for it. But there are 2 running back situations they have been having going for them right now. It's actually worked out well for them because now teams have the game plan for 2 running backs instead of 1.
The new number 1 seed in the AFC, now that the Patriots lost, is the Denver Broncos. Came away with the win against the San Diego Chargers, 17-3.
Mm-hmm.
Brock Osweiler carrying the team to the number 1 team in the AFC.
You sat there with a little bit of glee, like you said. For a guy not to be the Bronco, like for someone not with
a little bit of joy.
He's a game manager and he's doing what he's supposed to do. I once again I can't bash him for winning. Like he's winning he's been winning consistently. Like he's been winning. The defenses seem like the whole team. It seemed like they rallied behind him, which has probably done great for his confidence. But I still say when Peyton Manning is healthy, if he's able to come back and play, I still say Peyton Manning should play. And I know everybody else begged to differ. But once again, this guy's your future. He's proven that he could be your future.
Number 2 seed in the AFC is now the Cincinnati Bengals, who just destroyed the Browns 37-3.
That's funny because I know record-wise, the Broncos are the number 1 seed, but when I look at Cincinnati, I see a team that's complete. That's a complete team. They can run the ball. They can pass the ball. They have a solid defense that can stop your pass, stop your run, a bend but don't break type of defense. You got a few weapons on special teams. That's a complete team. But at the end of the day, the big question is for Cincinnati is going to always be, what are you going to do in the playoffs? What are y'all going to look like in the playoffs? Can Andy Dalton finally get us someplace in the playoffs? Like, that's going to always be the question. So, but they're having an awesome season. I think they are the number one team in the AFC since until the Patriots get back healthy.
Moving to the NFC, the Seahawks looked really good against the Vikings, 38-7. Was not close.
This team,
they look really
they're
good.
looking like they're starting to catch fire right now. They're the Hunger Games. They're catching fire right now, man. And the Legion of Boom looked like the old Legion of Boom yesterday. Adrian Peterson was held, I think, for a while. It's like, 18 yards. I don't have his complete total, but they basically shut him down. Teddy Bridgewater, I mean, they made him look like every bit of the late round pick quarterback that he was, and kind of made people wonder showed people why they don't trust him to necessarily throw the ball down the field, because he had some throws that was like, oh, Teddy. No, Teddy. Okay, Teddy. Great job, Teddy. It's all you can say. Just okay, Teddy. It's just
nothing
not
good
your day.
Comes after the okay.
Nothing.
It's kind of like the all right.
If I'm anybody playing in the NFC, I don't want to see this team first round of playoffs if they get there. Right now, they're in.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to see this team first round. I wouldn't want to, like, as of right now, Russell Wilson is quietly 11-2 since he's 11-2 in December. Mr. December is what they starting to call this man now.
Please don't. Please stop. Please stop. It would be greatly appreciated over here on the Sports Machine if you didn't call him that. Coming up on the Sports Machine, we're going straight college right here. Welcome to the Sports Machine. This is Brian Frank with the Sports Machine's daily sports ticker. And last night's Monday Night Football matchup, the Dallas Cowboys got a win off of a Dan Bailey 54-yard field goal with 9 seconds left to defeat the Washington Redskins 19-16. Former USC coach Steve Sarkisian filed a lawsuit against the University of Southern California on Monday, claiming the school wrongfully terminated him. The finalists for the Heisman Award have been announced. The finalists are Alabama's Derrick Henry, Stanford's Christian McCaffrey, and Clemson's Deshaun Watson. The NBA scores from last night are as follows. The Hornets blew out the Pistons 104-84. Philadelphia took another huge loss, this one at the hands of the San Antonio Spurs 119-68. The Heat couldn't hold on for the win against the Wizards, losing 114-103. The Lakers lost their third straight game, this one to the Raptors 102-93. The Suns completed a huge comeback to beat the Bulls 103-101. The Bucks came through in the end to get the victory over the Trailblazers 90-88. The Clippers had a big fourth quarter to win against the Timberwolves 110-106, and the Celtics got an easy win over the Pelicans 111-93. Just went over the NFL weekend review. Let's go to the college side where we had multiple champions. I guess we'll go ahead and start with the easiest one to talk about, in which it kind of made them look. I'll just start off with apologizing to you about it. I did insinuate that you may have been on some narcotics for picking Texas over Baylor.
You did put the S at the end of it, right? Like, you didn't say a narcotic. Like,
Multiple.
Yeah, thank you. Plural. You put an S at the end of that. Like, you made sure that everybody knew that I was on drugs. We put the S in that real quick.
I still think, had Baylor's third string quarterback stayed in the game, it wouldn't have been close. But since they had a wide receiver playing quarterback,
oh man,
I guess Tyrone Swoops couldn't screw that one up.
And
it's like they were still close.
Right. The funny thing is, I think Tyrone Swoops is the most inconsistent quarterback in all of college football. Like, in all of Division I football, I don't think there's anybody more inconsistent than him, but Texas came out there on fire. They just came out there on fire. It's like, for them, this was their bowl game. To go into Waco and to beat a heavily favored Baylor team, this was their bowl game. So for them, it was like, well, we ain't got to worry about nothing else because, hey, we're not missing out on the bowl game. You guys will be our bowl game. We're going to beat you guys. And you know what? It helped out Charlie Strong a whole lot to say you beat a college football playoff team in Oklahoma in neutral territory, and then you went in and beat a top 15 program in Baylor in Waco. So I think that kind of helps his argument.
I don't think he should have been fired either way, whether they won this game or didn't win this game.
Me too, but it's like, okay, well, look, this is what he can do when his team decides not to lose off of a botched punt or a botched, what's that, extra point. Because they could be playing a bowl game, right? That's two of their losses came off of last-minute special teams blunders. Punt and a mixed extra point when they played, who was that? UCLA came into Texas. So, anyway. That was California. I think that was Cal. It was one of them, but otherwise all they had to do was 2 more wins and they would have been bowl eligible. It's like I'm not a fan of the whole bowl. You know how? Do I need to go back into the argument again about how? Okay,
participation awards. We got you.
Okay.
Either way, good. Congratulations on Texas beating Baylor.
Don't worry, the rest of my pick six just went to the crapper because I basically went full blown underdog.
We'll just go straight. Houston beat Temple. I think you had Houston.
Right. And that was actually probably the better of all, out of all the games besides the Michigan State Iowa game. That was actually the better of all the games.
I agree. I thought Temple was going to put more points on than that, but
Houston jumped out on them.
Yeah.
Early.
Shout out to Houston.
Early.
Won the American Athletic Conference Championship. They will be going to a bowl game.
I think it's the Peach Bowl or something, but we're going to go into the bowl games a little bit later.
Let's go to the Pac-12 championship game. Some people thought USC was going to upset Stanford, and Mr. Christian McCaffrey said nope.
I was hoping USC would have, just because I wasn't sure. I just kind of wanted to see a real big stir up. I just wanted to see a stir up in the worst way. Like I want to see, and not to make, for a while we have been trying to figure out where the college football playoff committee was meeting at. The Gaylord Texan.
We should have known.
Thank you. I thank you.
We knew it was one of those hotels.
Because, ESPN has a little reporter girl that was just with them the whole time and was getting feedback. When we stayed there for Water Games, she was out there where the water fountain is, like back there in the center where you said the lights were so bright before you knew about the curtains. Yeah. She was out there where the waterfall thing was. And I was like, that's the Gaylord. Son of a gun. We could have been there like, yo.
Sir.
I do not agree with your eye test.
Stanford gave it to him.
Yeah.
They gave it to USC. USC was not ready for that.
No, they really wasn't.
McCaffrey made a good bid for his Heisman, which we'll go into later. Let's go to the SEC championship game in which Alabama dominated Florida. Don't believe the 29-15 score. That's not true.
Yeah, it was total domination. And it's funny because, like, Florida, they actually, for maybe the first half of that game, they actually held them down. They got them to.
The defense was playing really well.
Thank you. And what I noticed is about their defense is how fast. Once again, I think we've forgotten how fast a lot of the Florida players are. That defense, you talk about game tackling and swarming to the football. That defense, if it's something they want to look forward to the fact that Florida will have a fast defense next season. I'm talking about guys who can fly to the ball, game tackling. These guys was flying to the ball. They didn't give Henry a whole lot to look at in that first half, but Henry being the type of running back he is, he wears on you. He's a lot like Novocaine.
He get 44 carries.
Hey, it's a lot like Novocaine. Just give it time. It'll work. Just give it a little bit of time. And that's exactly what it did. They just kept on.
Just keep giving them shots.
Yeah.
It's not like giving it time. That's giving it more shots.
Giving them more shots. And in a matter of time, it'll work. Bow. Again, it's a big bruising running back. And
you better watch out with it.
And
get 44 carries a game. See what happens in the NFL.
Yeah. It's not going to be nice, but he won't be ready next week, I don't think.
Moving on from the SEC. I'm not even going to talk about it. Derrick Henry also made his statement for the Heisman finalists. Another Heisman finalist, Deshaun Watson. Clemson beat North Carolina 45-37 for the ACC championship. Shout out to North Carolina, played really well. Competed with Clemson.
All the way down to the wire to a jacked up call that was just offsides on the man. When I looked at it, I didn't see anybody offsides, and I was like, "Wow, I'm glad I'm not a North Carolina fan because exactly. You already know it's flying out my mouth. It's bought league, bought. They just wanted Clemson to go in just because they didn't want to, they didn't want to risk trying to put us off in the championship game because they would have to jump so many different teams or, but once again, basically just screaming all kinds of controversy. I'm talking about, second gunman on the grassy knoll type of controversy, man. I'm talking real bad, but once again, that was a good game too. Next to the Temple game, I thought that game was actually pretty good because of the things that happened late in that game.
The best game I thought there was the Big Ten championship game. Kind of defensive game, not just the greatest to watch, but at the end, which Michigan State scored really late.
Yeah,
pretty much gave Iowa almost no hope of coming back with the way the offenses were playing.
Right. I mean,
I thought Iowa kind of proved that they were for real, though.
Yeah.
They lost the game, they're not going to go to the playoff. But I thought they proved, hey, we are for real. Like,
right.
We weren't a joke all season.
Right. And the things that suck, what sucks for them is the fact that they lost late. And had they been able to lose early, they probably could have came back from this and still had the potential to make the playoff. But it's one thing we've said, man, you lose late in this new system, your chances of getting back in there are slim to none. And what sucks for Iowa is the fact that, once again, I view this as a wasted season. You right now, you spend your whole season playing to become one of the top 4 teams to play for the national title, like basically making it to the playoff. Right now they had to settle. Right now they're selling for a bowl game. Okay, this team is going to go out there and play their best, right? But at the end of the day, national titles is what matters. Getting to the college football playoff is what matters. So if I'm on that team, I'm looking at, if I'm a senior, if I'm anybody on that team, I'm looking at like, well, this is a wasted season. We went undefeated all the way up to the championship game only to lose.
Moving on from championship week, just mentioned it. Let's take a quick change into the bowl game. Playoff has been announced. Not really any shockers in there. The only shock to me was the fact that Oklahoma fell to number 4. You think that was kind of weird? That the Big Ten was fighting for the 4th spot, then they magically moved up to 3. Michigan State did.
Because I was under the impression that if you were on a bye week or if you didn't play that week, you wasn't supposed to lose position. And they did. They lost position. It happened last year to a Big 12 team by the name of TCU, but I won't, okay? That's last year.
I don't understand.
Me neither. But I think that was all about a matchup.
That's exactly what it was.
Right.
They want to see Clemson, Oklahoma put up points. They want to see Alabama, Michigan State play some defense.
Right.
And then they want to see the ultimate matchup where defense goes against offense.
Exactly.
That's what it is in
because
the championship game.
I think
the last thing they wanted was Michigan State to go against Alabama in the championship game.
Exactly. Because that, like you said before, they want a slugfest. They want to see, all right, the Big 12, y'all say y'all offenses is about this. Y'all, not the best defense and things like that. But, all right, here's this defensive conference. Now, granted, the reason why I feel like Oklahoma, a win against Clemson is because of the fact that Oklahoma's a more well-rounded team.
I think I disagree with that.
You do?
Yes.
So
I think Clemson's more well-rounded than Oklahoma.
I don't know about that one. I
feel like Oklahoma solely rests on Baker Mayfield. That's how I feel about Oklahoma.
But CJ Perine is nice though. CJ Perine is a solid running back for that team. As much as Baker Mayfield is the heart and soul, CJ Perine is the running back that they're going to have to wind up preparing for. They're going to wind up having to actually prepare for him equally as much as they prepare for Baker Mayfield. Because blitzing Baker Mayfield, he may wind up burning you with the receivers that they have, with the young receivers that they have on their team. That's the reason why I'm going to wind up picking Oklahoma.
That'll be interesting. I'm going to pick Clemson, obviously. What I just said. I think Deshaun Watson's better than Baker Mayfield in college as well.
Right. Once again, we're going to get into like the Heisman Trophy debate shortly, but for me, I'm not saying that Deshaun Watson is a better. I'm not saying that Baker Mayfield is a better quarterback. For me, it's all about the whole team effort. And I think when it comes to whole team, I think that Oklahoma's defense will do just enough. And get at least key stops at key times to help this team come out on top. With Clemson's defense, I'm not so sure about that.
I think they will.
Okay.
Moving on to the Cotton Bowl, the other game, Michigan State versus Alabama. Alabama's looked really, really good since they've lost to Ole Miss. Do you think Michigan State, given what you saw against Iowa, given what you saw against Ohio State, has enough to compete with Alabama?
Almost definitely. Right now, besides Henry at running back for Alabama, you can get to the quarterback.
Yeah, you can.
And I think Michigan State's defense, they're not as fast as Florida's defense, but they're just as consistent. That's what I take from Michigan State's defense, is the fact that, if their defense can make some plays for them, Florida proved that you can get this team to turn the ball over. If they can get at least 2 turnovers in that game here in AT&T Stadium, the Cotton Bowl, if they can get at least 2 turnovers, I think Michigan State can win this game. And it'll be one of those Michigan State Iowa games. It'll be one of those games where it's going to be like a 16-13. I don't see Alabama just running out of nowhere with this game.
I don't know. I think it'll be close. I like Connor Cook, like what he brings to the table.
Mm-hmm.
I do think Alabama will probably get the win, though, just from what I've seen. The wide receivers have started to come around.
Right.
Lately, Coker's just... I would say one thing I wish people would kind of realize with Coker is he does kind of throw the ball up.
Yeah.
Up for grabs.
Right.
And luckily for him, his wide receivers have been coming down with it, but there's something to kind of look out for. Like,
exactly.
Michigan State might actually come back with those.
Because Michigan State, they have, over the past couple of years, they've had some really good cornerbacks. Even some come out in the draft that's playing pretty well in the pros right now. Once again, this defense, like I said, for these guys, they're a pretty consistent defense. They haven't allowed a lot of teams to just score randomly, just run up and down the field on them like that. That's why I kind of like the matchup that they have going.
So it's what it seems like they did is they just matched up what they think would be the best matchups to watch.
Mm-hmm.
which I can't be really mad at. If you're gonna win, you're gonna win. Moving on to some of the bigger bowl games that don't matter, as you would say.
Mm-hmm.
We have the Citrus Bowl, which Michigan plays Florida. Two big schools, bring in fans. Florida's struggled since their starting quarterback went out, yet still found a way to win games. Michigan looks like they're not quite ready to be up in their top 4 yet.
They're close.
They compete for the first year of having a new coach.
Despite that one loss, despite Michigan getting blowed out by Ohio State at home, other than that, their losses was like grueling losses, like just last minute, just fluky plays. Like, oh, that's all you can call it is a fluke play. That's beat that team.
Speaking of Ohio State, they made the Fiesta Bowl, in which they play Notre Dame. I think that'll probably be a really good game.
Yeah. I think it's going to not only be a good game, but I think it's going to be like a test to Notre Dame to kind of see if they're really about what they were saying they was about.
Yeah, the Sugar Bowl, Oklahoma State plays Ole Miss. Ole Miss magically regained their magic back after LSU. They beat Alabama, slumped, and just came back.
Right.
And Oklahoma State, who competed with the Big 12 up until the end,
Right.
just couldn't beat Oklahoma,
Couldn't beat Oklahoma.
which is a testament to Oklahoma. Then you have the Rose Bowl, which Stanford plays Iowa, which will probably, to me, out of all the other games that aren't the playoffs, will probably be, to me, would be the best game. Stanford versus Iowa.
Right.
'Cause I thought Iowa proved that they were for real against Michigan State.
You're right.
And Stanford, that defense trying to go against McCaffrey
Exactly.
is what I want to watch.
Exactly. You know what I've noticed though is that's been a lot of great running backs like that. Besides Leonard Fournette, there's some lot of pretty good running backs out there that I think I'm not gonna lie, I was probably sleeping on because that's all you could really think about was, hey man, Leonard Fournette early in the year was tearing the league up. You know, Derrick Henry was quietly doing his thing, but doing what he's supposed to been doing, you know. And, you know, like I said, for CJ Perine is not necessarily in the mix, but like he's not in the Heisman Trophy mix, but for the most part, he's been doing his thing. Christian McCaffrey's been doing his thing too. So I think the league has a lot of good running backs to kind of look at when these guys decide to come out.
Notable names for bowls, because it's always fun to go through those because we never know the names. Raycom Media Camilla Bowl.
That's why I'm not a fan of. Okay, never mind, man.
Royal Purple Las Vegas Bowl. Cure Bowl.
Peep this right here. Tax Slayer Bowl. Penn State versus Georgia. Tax Slayer.
Marymount Boca Raton Bowl.
Tax Slayer Bowl.
San Diego County Credit Union Poinsettia Bowl.
Motel 6 Cactus Bowl. West Virginia. Arizona State. Why not just Motel 6 Bowl? Like, what are they going to give out? Because I thought, like, depending on,
Quick Lane Bowl.
it's like, what are you going to give us? Like, I'm so serious. The AutoZone Liberty Bowl.
Give you a new battery.
Okay, I'll take that.
Right then.
I'll take that. Free windshield wipers, oil change, hey, whatever. I'll take that. But like the Motel 6 Bowl, free nice rest. Like, can I even get that? Like, am I going to be suspended next season? Am I going to be ineligible just because Motel 6 gave me a room for the night? Crap.
Sounds like some Louisville
You know how that goes.
basketball.
Hey, a little dough here, a little dough there. Next minute, you know.
Coming up, Heisman finalists right here on the Sports Machine.
I am Dwelling Dean. This is your Sports Machine News Update. The drum over Dodgers and Reds reported deal to send closer Aroldis Chapman played out throughout the day Monday. But Yahoo Sports' Tim Brown and Jeff Passan reported late Monday that Chapman allegedly fired 8 shots in the garage in his Miami home during an argument with his wife. His wife then told police that the pitcher choked her and pushed her against the wall. The once thought finalized trade is now being held up. St. Louis Rams coach Jeff Fisher says wide receiver Stedman Bailey was improving from the 2 gunshot wounds to the head, but wasn't sure if the 2013 third-round pick will be able to return to the NFL. Fisher said the injuries are career-threatening and is probably done playing football. That was your Sports Machine News Update. I am Dwayne Dean, Sports Machine.
We're here on the Sports Machine. Brian and Dean went over the NFL weekend, college football weekend, over some of the college bowls. Full college day today. Heisman finalists have been announced. Derrick Henry, running back from Alabama. Deshaun Watson, quarterback from Clemson. And running back from Stanford, Christian McCaffrey. First of all, does Christian McCaffrey have a shot with Derrick Henry in the running?
You know what?
Because I've seen him play. I think Christian McCaffrey's just as good as Derrick Henry is.
Right.
But when you look at the numbers and then you look at pure popularity,
Derrick Henry's the guy. You know, but for me, when I look at this guy, I see something that we're seeing a lot of in the NFL right now. I think Christian McCaffrey is a much better NFL running back than Derrick Henry, in my opinion. Because I see Derrick Henry as a guy. Derrick Henry is a bruising guy, big guy. He can get short yardage. But Christian McCaffrey is that all-around guy who we was just talking about, like your boy Langford from Chicago. He's one of those guys who's a lot like I said, Langford, not to mention Matt Forte. Guys who he could actually be your all-down running back, in my opinion. Like, he can run in between the tackles. He can run outside of the tackles. He could also be a good receiver out the backfield. That's what I think I've noticed about McCaffrey, and that's one of the things I like, because in this league, I think you need a guy who can be an all-around running back for you, to be a receiver threat, to be in between the tackle threat outside. A guy who they have to completely game plan for. They have to keep their eyes on him at all times. So I think his game adds more to what the NFL is looking for right now in running back.
the notable people that people may say were just outside the finalists, snubs, maybe Baker Mayfield, quarterback from Oklahoma. Think maybe he should have got in there.
Baker Mayfield? Yeah.
The only problem, I hate these type of questions because, like, who you going to take out? And the only person I can see getting taken out is Christian McCaffrey. I think Christian McCaffrey deserves to be there.
Right.
The only person I thought should, obviously, because I was on the Leonard Fournette train, I thought Leonard Fournette should still be there because Leonard Fournette still has better numbers than Christian McCaffrey.
See, that was a surprise for me because, like, I guess...
What have you done for me lately? That's
exactly. And that's exactly what I was about to say was that's what it's done turned into. Your last month of the season, teams just made you irrelevant. But it's like they wouldn't have made me if you are Leonard Fournette. You got to think to yourself, they wouldn't have made me irrelevant if it wasn't for the fact that they put up 8 men in the box and my offense couldn't do anything else. You know, my receivers couldn't catch a plethora of things. You know, quarterback couldn't make throws, couldn't make the adjustments, or coaching staff not making the adjustments to when they put 8 men in the box. But
another one like that is Ezekiel Elliott. Not really his fault that he isn't in there. It's like,
exactly.
You could have been giving me the ball all season. I could have done what I've been doing.
Who knows? They be in the mix right now, and who knows? It could be Ohio State in there instead of Michigan State. I mean, once again, that's just a hypothetical, but when you choose not to run, they went away from something that was actually that got them to their last national championship.
A couple people have thrown out the name Keenan Reynolds from Navy, who I've seen play. He's really good.
Right. But I don't think he's top 3.
I don't think so either. A lot of people just want to send him to New York. Like, oh, just send him to New York. He's in the Navy. He's been there for 4 years. Like,
right.
All right, man. Like, if you go to win. Like,
right. Exactly.
You just basically you give the dude participation award.
Right.
Like, yeah, he's a good dude. He's a really good player, but I'm not just gonna send him with no hopes of winning.
Exactly.
That's kind of messed up.
Especially when you look at the fact that, excuse me, like there were other guys out there who played just as hard and probably deserved the spot, but you can't josh another guy out just because this guy played for Navy or he's a member of the services and you just think it'd be a good story to have him in. Don't give him anything. Let him earn it. You know what I'm saying? If you feel like he earned that spot, then yeah, put him in. But for the most part, I don't think anybody from the services wants you to give them anything.
Getting down to it, who we actually think is gonna win. To me, it's between Derrick Henry and Deshaun Watson. Are you gonna go with the running back or quarterback? I think if people are gonna go running back, they're gonna go Derrick Henry.
Mm-hmm. For me,
I like your boy Deshaun Watson though.
Right,
I really do.
For me, I think the Heisman Trophy. When I look at some of the guys who won the Heisman Trophy, it was like it was all about the impact that they had on their team. I think that I've stated this once before. If Derrick Henry goes down, there's other running backs that could still come in and be productive in the system. Why? Because Nick Saban is a guy who he has a team that beats you up in the trenches on the offense and the defense. He has a pretty good offensive line, has a pretty good defensive line. That's one of the reasons why they're in the playoff right now is because of their offensive and defensive line play. But if you look at Deshaun Watson, if they lose Deshaun Watson, they're done. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
So that's why I feel like Deshaun Watson, in my opinion, should be the Heisman Trophy winner because of his impact to his team.
I think we just saw from Baylor when people start going on system, though.
Mm-hmm.
It's like when the starting quarterback went out for Baylor, everybody's like, oh, they'll still be good. They're Baylor. It's like,
thank you.
it's a starting quarterback right there.
Thank you.
That runs the whole system. I don't know if you can just throw a true freshman
Right.
back there. You can't just throw anybody back there.
And see, my whole deal with that is, all right, we've even heard that to an extent with the Cowboys and other NFL teams. Next man up. That sounds good. No, please, like I understand that dude. That sounds good. That's a coach thing. Like coaches will drop that out there in a heartbeat. But in my opinion, there's some guys you just can't replace. Deshaun Watson is one of those guys you cannot replace because what he do with his arm and his legs, you can't replace that. Period. Not to mention he's already familiar with the system. He knows what to do and what not to do. He knows what the coaches expect and not. Other guys may get into that situation. They be thrust into that situation. Not everybody's going to pull a Cardale Jones. And once again, we said Cardale Jones last year did what? He had a running game that they relied on.
Yeah.
I don't have the numbers in front of me, but I don't think that Clemson is in the top of the FBS in running game in their running game.
They're 23rd, but you have to look at the fact that Deshaun Watson himself actually runs himself.
Right.
Their running back's good.
Right.
Gallman
Right.
has 1,332 yards. I mean,
That's still a good
it's
season.
say it's good.
Right.
I mean, it's not Heisman, it's not Deshaun Watson, not
Right.
Derrick Henry, McCaffrey, but it's quality.
Yeah.
It's obviously a lot easier when you have Deshaun Watson on the other side of the read.
Exactly.
They're definitely going to try to stop him.
Exactly. Because he's the number one threat. He's the guy you can't let get outside. So I guess to get back on the topic, that's why I would choose Deshaun Watson over Derrick Henry is because of the impact that he has on his team.
I agree. I think I would take Deshaun Watson over Derrick Henry.
And Derrick Henry's no slouch. Like I said before, I know this college football, but 44 carries, 42 carries, 40 carries, things like that. Yo, these guys are still out there hitting. This is still high impact football, and you know, you take some real bad bruises when you run it 44 times. You know,
Very true.
and you know what? Honestly, before we leave, if I'm an NFL scout, I kind of wonder what his durability is going to be when he get to the league after taking that many carries, after taking that many shots.
At first, it'll probably be all right, but you start looking later in his career. It's like, man, like you were taking 40 carries in college. Now you're in the NFL, and if he's good in the NFL, he's gonna be getting 25 and up.
Yeah.
If you're the main guy,
right,
you're one of them all down
25 to 30 carries, and usually the guys who get those 30, 32 carries are not the same that very next week.
They're not. And I think there's a legitimate question coming up. Totally switching it up, going to the NBA in the weekend. Right on the Sports Machine with Brian and Dean went over the NFL weekend review as well as college football, the bowls being released, and the Heisman finalists, Derrick Henry, Deshaun Watson, and Christian McCaffrey. Let's get into the NBA weekend, and by far the biggest thing that happened over the weekend to me in the NBA was the fact that the Warriors almost lost to the Raptors on Saturday.
You know what's crazy about that is we're excited about the fact that they almost lost. Like
They almost lost.
Like, oh, they almost got him. No. And it's true though. Like, and that was the one game you actually picked out and said that they could lose that game. Like that game will be pretty difficult, and it was a difficult game. But once again, this team just showing its grit. Like, what team do you know of, or have you seen that had that same kind of chip on their shoulder that played that after won the championship? Like, I haven't seen it. I'm 31 years old, and I haven't seen a team come out with that same type of.
Well, they weren't getting called out like the Warriors were, I don't think, either.
Right. So it's like you said before, everybody was like, hey, well, this team right here, hey, they didn't deserve to be there, or, just a bunch of nonsense. Right before the season started, now this team is just, they're full-blown Tom Brady in it right now, just thumbing their nose up at everybody. Okay, well, guess what? We still healthy right now. We 22, 23. We're undefeated throughout the regular part of the season.
If you didn't watch the game on Saturday, the Warriors beat the Raptors 112-109. Stephen Curry dropped 44 points with 9 3-pointers. And Kyle Lowry had a huge game with 41 points. Doing everything he could for the Raptors.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to match up with Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry was just clutch. That's the way it was. That's all I can say.
Stephen Curry's he's in another universe with his basketball play right now, man.
Like, I don't even think there's an argument out there right now that he's not the MVP.
I don't know who else you could put in the discussion with him. Like, as of right now, if you wanted to go into who's your, I guess, first half of the season MVP, yeah, of course, it's Steph Curry. But, like, who else would you throw in the mix right there? Drummond?
That's the problem is everyone's so far back. It's
right.
like you would just be throwing people in.
I guess
throw it in.
It would be something like how you said with women's basketball. When you have a dominant women's basketball player, she's so far ahead of the rest of.
I'd put Paul George up there. What Paul George has done this season, I'll put Paul George up there.
Okay.
That's the only other person I can see. Because
Kawhi Leonard.
I like what Kawhi Leonard's done, but
not MVP material.
The Spurs aren't going to have an MVP for a while. You have Kawhi Leonard and LaMarcus Aldridge. You're going to take away from each other.
Right.
The same reason I don't think LeBron James is an MVP discussion. You have that many players around you, you kind of get looked down upon. Even though I do think Kawhi Leonard is up there when it comes to caliber of player. He's definitely up there with Stephen Curry, Paul George.
Right.
Players like that. I hope no one's out there screaming James Harden. I'm not trying to hear that. Warriors are 22-0 because they did beat the Nets the next day. Not hard either. It was pretty handily.
Yeah. When I really just like when I look at just the rest of the league, I can't. All I try to do is size up teams that could potentially beat Golden State, and like I know like there's been a bunch of other great games on this, but it's like if you're not playing like when you, at your best, If you're not beating it, if you're not perfect, you still may potentially not beat this team. So that's what I look at when I look at other scores of the game. Even my Mavs the other day. They're looking good, but it's like...
So look over at the Warriors. It's like...
Thank you.
It's like when a 6 sees a 10.
It's like, God, like, do I really want my team to even face this team? Like, you was just talking about a whole nother game, and all I did was look at a stat from that Golden State, another stat they had that then put them in the record book, and I was just like, wow, like, I blacked out for a second. All I could think about was just how phenomenal this team. I can't stand Golden State for what they did to my Mavs back in the day with the whole
Baron Davis. Like, why are you still holding on to old?
Because, dude, because at that time the Mavs was playing such beautiful basketball, and then to just get put down. Not to mention Dirk won the MVP and he was out of the playoffs, and everybody just made huge laugh at that. Like,
as
once
they go
again,
into the world of the haters.
But I'm not hating on them now. I'm giving them mad props. Like, I'm looking at this team like, yo, that was a coach that tried to do what you guys are doing right now and just couldn't do nothing with it. Mainly because when he was Steve Kerr was, who was that? When he was Steve Kerr was, man. When he was general manager off in Phoenix. You remember that? He was trying to give
Mark D'Antoni.
Yeah, he was trying to give him some pointers, and D'Antoni wasn't hearing it. So it's like, okay.
Philadelphia got beat 119-68.
Have you heard about the whole? They're looking into a new buyer. Rightfully so.
Looking into a new team. Instead of expanding the NBA, we might have to just take it to 29.
Yeah,
The Tanks are not.
that's not a team.
It's not. Because I always laugh at when people say college teams could be the NBA team, but they make it look really easy to like make that argument. I still don't think a college team can beat the Philadelphia Tanks.
But they would give them a run.
They
would give them a run.
It wouldn't be an argument against any other NBA team, but against y'all make it look like it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
Like Nerlens Noel, did you become worse after college? Because that's what it looked like. It's not even his fault. They benched Jahlil Okafor because of his activities, his extracurriculars, in which he almost got jumped.
Right.
He was getting jumped.
By 3 dudes.
He wanted no parts of them.
No, man.
How do you lose by 51 points? It happened to the Grizzlies, but that was against the Warriors.
Right.
I guess this is against the Spurs. It could have been worse. That's the worst part about it. It could have been even worse than 51.
Even they were so excited off that one win against Kobe Bryant. It was like, you guys are a professional basketball team. Let's not forget about the rest of those losses. Like,
You're 1-21.
thank you. I can't celebrate that.
Over under 7 wins.
This is hard, but I'm gonna say over. 10.
You think they're gonna get 10?
10.
I don't know if they can get 10.
I want to
They
think
must go on a run.
Exactly. Like
They're gonna
later
go on
on,
a run and get 2 wins in a row.
what's gonna happen is they're gonna come across some teams later on in the season that's in the same position that they're in. That's gonna be like, all right, you know what? We can't do that. All right, let's just. What's dude's name in LSU? Ben Gordon.
Ben Simmons.
Yeah, Ben Simmons. Everybody gonna be on the Ben Simmons.
I hope they lose the lottery. I hope they get like the 3rd pick.
The lottery is fickle like that. People
should
don't
be.
understand. Like, you have all those ping pong balls now and watching Minnesota gets the top pick. It's like, but we had so many. We had so many. Like, how does that happen?
I hope the Lakers go.
That if they not careful, that could happen to them too. Like I said, like the lottery's fickle like that. The lottery is so fickle to the point to where
It looks rigged. That's what it looks like.
exactly. Like I'm trying not to call it rigged, but
Not
by calling
rigged.
it
I said
fickle,
it looks rigged. I didn't say it was rigged.
it's like exactly. But it's like, yo, the NBA is a better team when the Lakers is actually pretty good, and the Celtics are pretty good, and the Celtics are on their way.
Yeah, they are.
Celtics are on their way, so it's like, all right, Celtics on their way. What you gonna do, Lake Show? Oh, let's get you guys at least the first round pick so you can grab this next dominant kid out of LSU.
Right quick before we get into the mocking of people, the matchup last night between Porzingis and Dirk Nowitzki was kind of fun.
Right.
Mavericks won 104-97, but
They made it. At one point in time, there was a 21 point lead.
yes.
And they brought it back.
Dirk versus Porzingis, I just thought was very interesting. Porzingis was kind of hitting him with his own kind of style, and
But what I gotta realize is this guy's 7'3".
like
7'3", making the moves that he making. Like sometimes I'm still looking like, wow, like 7'3". Good job, dude. Like
thank your
seriously.
parents.
Like, yo, real talk, like, good job, man. Like, that's all I can say to that. And New York fans, never mind.
Really though.
Just cut that off.
Really though.
Thanks to sports, I make you say.
Really though. Really though.
I think I'll go first today because you said you had something intriguing lined up. Hope you didn't forget it.
Nah, we good.
All right. I'm going after the San Francisco 49ers because I saw something I believe to be a lie. I'm not calling Adam Schefter a liar. He seems to be a really good reporter, but he said the door is not closed on Kaepernick staying in San Francisco.
Ah,
Really though? Like really though? You gonna bring him back after benching him to Blaine Gabbert? I wouldn't even come back. You benched me for Blaine Gabbert, and Blaine Gabbert's been winning. That's the saddest part. Blaine Gabbert has won games with a team that Colin Kaepernick could not.
mm-hmm.
You're sitting here telling me the door is still open for him to come back. For what? What is he gonna do for you?
I don't understand.
I really don't.
I don't need to.
I hope they do bring him back. And he's their backup. No, with all that money on the table, he getting cut. He getting cut. I don't believe it. San Francisco just tried to lie to everybody's face.
Exactly.
It's like, really though, you gonna bring Colin Kaepernick back? You gonna try to throw that bluff at me? Nah,
It's just so
No.
disrespectful.
really disrespectful. Rated G. You can go.
Man, I'm gonna keep it real simple as much as I can. But my really though goes to Mercury Morris of the 72 Dolphins. You know, I get tired of this whole, hey, guess what? You guys are undefeated, but you guys are no us. We know that they're not you.
They might be.
But at the
Might be
same
better than you actually if you look
Right.
at this, like how long the schedules are nowadays.
compared to what they was playing, but I'm saying, like, when I look at this team, I'm like, all right, do 68. And I give props to them, but they're not us. Dude, okay.
That's like that Troy Aikman commercial.
I don't live in the past, but... And his phone starts ringing. Exactly. It's like,
I
sir,
live in the past.
sir, you're 68. You guys, y'all had a great season back then, one of the greatest seasons of all times. Won a Super Bowl with it. Great job, man. But let's stop with the moment a team loses or a moment, you know, a team begins to go undefeated as deep as Carolina is right now. Can we please stop with the whole toasting and the whole deal? You know, you guys have a ring for your undefeated season. Can we please keep it just, hey, you guys look good. You guys look good. Because to be real with you, I think with the Carolina Panthers defense now, they would beat the 72 Dolphins.
I don't know about that.
I'm on the record right now, live right here on YouTube. Yo, 72 Dolphins. I think Cam Newton, what Cam Newton can do to the 72 Dolphins defense will be done. Done. They will handle them. I even give you a score. I have.
A score like it's gonna happen.
Yeah, I'm gonna give you a score. And it's funny because I wasn't allowed to see the 72 Dolphins play, but I'm allowed to see the 2015 Carolina Panthers play. And with this team and what they could do with the healthy Kelvin Benjamin.
You can't just throw an
Yeah,
extra player. He's
because-
not in there. He's been out the whole season.
He's been out the whole season, but when they play, he will be healthy. So therefore,
what? This is like a lie.
he will be healthy.
They live in a
They
lie.
would
right
handle him. They will handle him.
now. Handle.
They will handle them 28-14. 15. The 2015 Panthers over the 72 Dolphins in the Super Bowl. Book it. Because that's NFC and AFC. So they play each other in the Super Bowl. 2 undefeated joints. Yeah. Told you it'd be something good. Because you want you almost really don't me to look on your face to I say I'm going to get them.
The hypotheticals is not good. This is almost Texas Baylor.
You want to get on that? You want to test it? Go ahead. Go ahead.
I wish we could test it. Someone get a game of Madden now.
So maybe we need to pull out the celebrity death match machine. Get these guys, put them in a machine, get them a Fountain of Youth or something like that, and let them play Clash.
Cam Newton would work. Every single one of them dudes.
In the worst way, because they never seen a 6'5" guy who can move like Cam can move. That's the funny thing about it. They wasn't seeing the read option back then. They wasn't seeing no read option. They wasn't seeing the guys with these gloves that they have right now.
They're not seeing Kelvin Benjamin either. Ain't neither one of them seeing that.
Yeah. Even if Kelvin Benjamin wouldn't have played, they'd still beat him.
Maybe. This whole work him thing. They would work him. I don't know about that.
They give him the business, bruh. I'm almost sure.
Coming up later, Sports Machine. Later in the week, NFL Power Rankings. Maybe we'll get into some of these poinsettia bowls.
Right.
Maybe the Army-Navy game. Should be pretty intriguing. Right here on the Sports Machine.
Peace out.